Hello everybody, so welcome you all. So this particular information is all about giving you the idea of like what kind of questions it may be asked during the time of interview, which is related to your JavaScript. So this particular slides will help you to understand what kind of questions you may expect from your interviewer and kind of answers you need to get ready with. So let's get started with the JavaScript interview questions. So let's get started with the beginner JavaScript questions. We have multiple levels available. Here we start with the beginner level first. So the first question is always like, what do you understand about a JavaScript? So we know it very well. The JavaScript is a very popular scripting language. It is basically designed for client-side scripting and server-side scripting development. Why server-side? Because nowadays JavaScript is also used in a backend using Node.js. So that's why it is also called for server-side development. So the question is like, JavaScript is actually also helps the developers to develop some more responsive HTML pages, okay, which can be well understood and executed by the web browser, okay, which having the support capabilities for object-oriented programming skills. Now, the next question is like, what is the difference between a JavaScript and Java? See, the reason is because the JavaScript initials are Java. So everybody think like, okay, there is some relationship with the Java. So actually the thing is like, there is no relationship with Java. I would say JavaScript is object-based language, where the Java is object-oriented language. A lot of syntax and some standards are matching with Java. That's why exactly it is saying it is JavaScript. Otherwise, there is nothing like that. But another difference, if I talk about, JavaScript is mainly designed to run in the browsers, where the Java is designed especially for the virtual machine and operating system. Now, the other thing is like JavaScript does not need a compilation because it is directly used interpreter. But when you talk about Java, it requires a compiler as well as the interpreter both. Now, what type of various data types are supported? So all standard data types like in byte, short, int, long, float, double, character, boolean, these all different type of data types are supported in JavaScript also, just like in traditional programming languages. Okay. Now, what are the features of JavaScript? So the first feature which you always remember, it is a lightweight programming language. It is being interpreted by the browsers rather than compile. It is a cross-platform. That means it can work across multiple browsers. So it is not specific to the browsers. So that we need to understand. Next, it is an open source. Hence, you do not need to pay for any licensing fees. It comes free with all different type of browsers. It is an object-oriented, but I would not say it is a pure object-oriented. I would rather say it is an object-based language. Next, it can gel well with multiple front-end as well as the back-end technologies, because most of the languages which are coming up in a market, they have a support available to get integrated with the JavaScript, and due to that JavaScript is very popular. So it is also used especially for the development like a network-based application. So in case if you want to have some kind of network-centric application, here the JavaScript really suits very well. Okay. Next question, what are the advantages of JavaScript? So the first advantage which we are talking about, like JavaScript basically have a very nice interactive language. It is a event-based, okay, functional programming language, I would say. So it is a quick feedback because it loads very fast in your existing web pages. It is giving you the support of developing a very rich user interface. Because of that, your application look consistent across multiple type of browsers. Another is like, we have a variety of JavaScript based frameworks are available. Like you can talk about Angular, you talk about React, you talk about Vue. They're all basically different type of JavaScript based frameworks that helps the developer to enhance their skills with writing less amount of codes. So how you create a script or how you create an object in JavaScript, it is very simple, the curly braces. Curly braces is basically designed to give you the feel of this is a typical object. There are a variety of ways are there to create an object in JavaScript, which we're gonna see in our next PPT. Okay, now here we see about the next set of questions which are there with us, like how to create an array in JavaScript. So creating an array in JavaScript is very easy. Now you can see the square brackets. Okay, they are the way to basically create a array in a JavaScript. So just a square brackets are a very simpler way, so-called array literals, to create the array objects in JavaScript. Actually, you should know that array is also an object, which is a predefined object, comes with your JavaScript, so-called implicit objects. Now, what are the built-in methods available in JavaScript? So you remember about these methods comes from those built-in objects comes with your JavaScript, as we have mentioned in our last slides, like math, boolean, string, okay, date. They're all basically predefined objects are available. Under those objects, these methods are actually available. Like date, if you can see, it will display the current date and time. Concat, to concat two different type of string. Push, some adding some new records into your array. Pop, to remove. Round, to do the round. Length, to calculate the length of the string. So these are all some well-known methods or frequently used methods available in JavaScript. Now, what different type of scopes available in JavaScript for the variables now? So scopes are basically designed to give you the visibility within your program. Okay, so different type of scopes are available. One is called a global scope. So global scope is having the availability within a file. Anywhere else you can access this particular code or particular variable. That is called global scope, and local scopes are those scopes which are accessible within a function and hence cannot be accessed by any other function or outside of this function. So two standard type of scopes which are available here. Now, what is this keyword in JavaScript? This means to refer the current object. Okay, so whenever you see this keyword, it is designed to refer the current object in JavaScript. So we typically define this keyword to assign the value to my current object properties. Usually this is a place where this keyword is mostly used. Now, what are the conventions of giving the names to the variables? Okay, so some standard naming convention which we should always follow, but few things, as you remember, there are certain reserve keywords are there in JavaScript which you cannot offer while giving the names to your variables or to your functions. Like if I can say var, let, const, and many more which are there available, which you cannot assign to your any existing variable provided or functions under your JavaScript. Now, here they are trying to say variable names cannot begin with any numeric value. Like you cannot give var with ABC, so not ABC, I would say rather 1, 2, 3 or something like that. So they must be a combination of, I would say, integer as well as a character. Okay, so they must only begin with letter or underscore characters. It is the same like as we have it in Java also. Now, naming conventions are very important. JavaScript is a case sensitive, hence the small a and capital A have two different meanings for the JavaScript. So that part needs to be well taken care of. Now, what is a callback in JavaScript? So you need to understand the callback in JavaScript is a kind of function which you are passing as a parameter to the another function to execute. Okay, so callbacks are mainly designed to tell your application that they need to wait rather than continue to execute. So callbacks will help you to behave asynchronously, and that's what exactly this most valuable feature of JavaScript. So as I discussed already, so it is where the function needs to be passed to get executed. So how do you debug a JavaScript code? So to debug your JavaScript code in any browser, you can just press the F12, no matter which browser you have it, either Chrome or Firefox or anyone. you can just press the F12 key, and there you can get this option called debugger, where you can just go and perform all the necessary debugging related stuff right over there. Or so many other editors like in Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code, Atom, they're all offering you the built-in support to debug your JavaScript code. Now, what is the difference between a function declaration and function expression? So, there's a very simple difference. So, when you say function ABC here, okay, so you declare as a separate statement within the same JavaScript code. Okay, in another example, what you do, you define a function within a variable name called A, which you can create to construct some another object for this. That's the only difference between these two. So this function can be called before the function is defined, and this will be created when the function is pointing and reaching it. Okay, so it can be used only after that. So that's what we have discussed now. Going forward, this offers the better code readability and better code organization, and that the other part is basically used to create a conditional or a declaration functions. So what are the ways of adding the JavaScript code in an HTML file? So there are, I would say, two ways are available. One, either you can declare it in a separate file, you can add it, or second, you can write a embedded JavaScript code where you can just write a JavaScript code either in your head tag or body tag. But there'll be one difference, like if you're writing it as an embedded JavaScript, you cannot use it for the different HTML file, where the internal JavaScript file will be limited to that HTML. However, external JavaScript will be more useful when you want to reuse it again and again. So these were some standard basic JavaScript questions for us. So let's go ahead and talk about something which is related to your intermediate questions in JavaScript. Now, so what do you understand about the cookies? See, the cookies are basically a kind of a small text file, okay, which is kept in your browser and contains the information about your client activities. Okay, so whenever the client is accessing your websites, these websites can track your activities through this particular cookies. Okay, so they just basically record your general behaviors, like what you're doing with your website, so that accordingly they can give you the better recommendations. Now, how you're going to create a cookie in your JavaScript? So creating a cookie is one of the property available under your document object, so that you can create it using document.cookie and give a key. So your all cookie stands with your key and value pair. So you have a key, you have a value pair. So how are you going to read the cookie? So cookie you can read with the help of the same property called document.cookie, and here you can just use this statement. Like what? Key and value pair. So whatever the keys you have defined, similar key you will be reading it to give the value of whatever option you want to read it. Now, how are you going to delete the cookie? So cookie can be deleted it very easily by calling this delete cookie function, where you can just tell about the time and duration when you want the cookie to be get deleted. So when you set the expiry time, so cookies are deleted after a specific period of time, that will be treated as a good programming practice. So what is the difference between a let and var keyword? See, there's a new feature which is there added called let keyword, which is known as called block level scope. The block level scope means your variable whichever you're defining under any block level statement will be limited to that particular block. Like if you're defining it any opening block and closing block, so beyond that you cannot see that. Suppose if you're defining it under if block or any block, so these type of variables are no longer accessible outside, where the var keyword will be typically treated as a global variable, and hence it can be accessed anywhere. So what is the closure in JavaScript? So closure is basically gonna give you a better way of providing the consistent way of developing a JavaScript code for the developer. So closures are basically created whenever a variable that is defined outside of this current scope can be accessed within the current scope. Okay, that means which is a variable which is defined outside of the scope. Even using the scope of this particular closure, it can be accessed inside too. Now, what are the arrow functions in JavaScript? Friends, arrow function in JavaScript is very popular now. They're just gonna give you a kind of alternative way of defining the function keyword. They are just a shortcut way of defining the function in JavaScript. These are the simple handy functions, I would say. So what are the different ways of HTML can be accessed in JavaScript codes? So there are multiple ways are there. So you can access using document.getElement by class name. You can access getElement by ID. You can get access document getElement by tag name, and you can say document.querySelector. So these are the multiple options are where through which you can access the element within your HTML tags. What are the ways of defining a variable? So var keyword, as we discussed, you can define a variable. You can also define the variable using const. So if you define any variable using const, so these variables will get constantly declared and it cannot be changed once you define the value. So any value or any variable which is defined using const, it cannot be changed in later stages. What are imports and exports in JavaScript? So to make your JavaScript modular, so there's an option available of importing it and exporting it. So what exactly the difference? Difference is very simple, like you are writing the set of JavaScript code, and if you want to get it accessed outside in another JavaScript file, so how the two JavaScript files can communicate with each other, that is where exactly the important export code comes to make your JavaScript highly reused and more modular. Now, these are the quick example. As you can see now, two different files are there. So if you want to make your particular variable or function accessed outside, you always use export keyword with them, and if you want to access them out, you can just use an import keyword. As you can see, it is defined there. So another file can easily access the content of the previous files to make your code even more modular and useful. So what is the difference between a document and window in JavaScript? See, document is the one which is a part of your document part, which user can actually see that. Okay, so the document object is the object which falls under the category of window. Window is a top level object. So in JavaScript we have an option available name called BOM, that is called browser object model, in which the top level object which is there, that is called window, and under this we have a called document. So whatever you see under your browser, it is a part of your document. So what are the some JavaScript frameworks and their uses? See, JavaScript frameworks are mainly useful to make your application more organized with less code and without getting into the detail. Okay, so having this particular framework will give you the opportunity so that developer can use the JavaScript in much more better way to write a complex code in more simplified manner. This is where exactly your frameworks are designed for. So there are some very prominent and useful frameworks like in React, Angular, Vue.js, and lot many other names are there in market, which will be using this JavaScript as a core and take the entire JavaScript development to the next level. So the next question is, what is the difference between a undefined and undeclared in JavaScript? See, it is very simple. Undefined means the variable which is undefined. You're declaring a variable, okay, and which you haven't defined. Okay, that means the variable has been declared but the value has not yet assigned. That is called undefined. Undeclared means the variable which you're trying to access, that itself is not available. It doesn't even exist. So what is the difference between undefined and null in JavaScript? See, undefined, as I already told you, it means the variable has been declared but it is not assigned with any value. Null is actually the assignment value that we can assign to any variable which contain no values, as an alternative, I would say. So what is the difference between session storage and local storage? See, it is very simple. HTML5 has offered these features to you. So the session storage and local storage both offers you the data which can be stored in a browser, but session storage is short-lived. The moment your page is deleted or closed, the session data is immediately get deleted, where the local storage data is remained for the longer period of time. And the data doesn't get deleted after the browser history is over. Okay, so I would say the local storage time span is far bigger compared to the session storage. Okay everyone, so we'll have some advanced JavaScript questions now. We've already seen the beginner level as well as the intermediate level questions. Now it's time to discuss about some advanced level questions too. Like the first questions comes like how do you empty an array in JavaScript? So it is very simple. If you want to assign, so there are a few ways of that. Number one, by assigning the array length to what? To the 0. So automatically it turns to empty. Second is what? By assigning the completely empty array. Okay, the third will be by popping up all the elements of the array. So multiple options are there, and the last which you talk about called by using the splice function. So these are the 4 important aspects are there which you can treat how to empty your JavaScript array in a very simplified manner. Now, what is the difference between event capturing and event bubbling? See, this is one of the very common question. We talk about event capturing. Event capturing is actually the kind of process where you just try to capture the event of most outermost element and then propagating it to the innermost element. So event capturing is what, like you're talking about picking up the element or picking up the event from the outermost, like you talk about called nested div tags. So you pick up the particular event from the most outermost div tag and you're just passing it to the innermost. That is called capturing. The bubbling is the process, okay, which starts with the innermost and goes to the outermost element. It's just an opposite direction. That is called event bubbling. So the question is one of the very popular, like what is the strict mode in JavaScript? See, the strict mode of JavaScript is introduced to give the better error handling capacity of the JavaScript. So whenever you talk about call strict mode, so all variables have to be declared explicitly. So you cannot leave it like that, and it cannot be assigned to the read-only properties. So we can enable the strict mode only by adding the use strict mode on the top of the JavaScript file. Now, what about and how we would be able to get the following output of the below JavaScript code? So we have a call var a equal to 10, and we have written one function in the if block, and after that we're just capturing the value of a, and then you are printing the value in a console.log. So what would be the output for that? See, it will be a call 10 undefined. Once again, it will be kind of what? It will be undefined. How come it would be? Look, it is very simple. First thing, okay, in your application, you are basically saying the if condition statement in the code will evaluate the eval function. As you know it very well what exactly the evaluation is. Later on, the eval function, okay, will take the function and will return the function abc, whatever the function it is available, and then inside the if statement it executes the abc and returns the undefined, because as you know it very well the if statement code executes at runtime while the statement inside this if condition is being evaluated. So that's where exactly it is. Next, can you write a JavaScript code for adding the new element in a dynamic manner? Yes, exactly, you can write it down. So you have this very common function available named called document.createElement. Like people say like I want to add the new text boxes when I click on the button. So I can write it very well. So either it will be a text box or it will be the new element you want to add it. So document.createElement is one of the very common, I would say, the function. And later on you can use the typical DOM functions, like I can talk about create next node or append child. So using this combination you can easily do so. Next, what is the difference between call and apply? Very common question. So the call method, whatever the method you have it in a call, these method arguments are provided individually, okay, along with this value. But in apply what happens, arguments are provided in the form of array, along with this value. That is the only difference between call and apply. So what would be the output of the below JavaScript code? As you can see right now, we have written one object name called student, provided one property called college with ABC. After that, you're saying object.create, passing this student as an object itself. And after that, you're saying delete student1.college and console.log student.come. So what would be the value for this? So it is very simple. It is a very simple example of object orientation. So the output will be what? ABC, as we are accessing the property of student object. So certainly the value will be what? ABC for sure. Now, what would be the output for below JavaScript code? As you can see now, we have written a one function foo, and it is written 11. So we are saying type of foo. So this will certainly refer to what? To the error. Reason is why? Because the function definition can have only single reference variable as its name. That's why exactly it will be throwing what? An error to you. How do you remove the duplicate value from the JavaScript array? It is very simple. We have a called filter function. So the filter method, I can basically call it, and 3 arguments it may be expecting it: the name of the array, the current element, and the index of the current element, so that it can remove all the duplicate elements from there. So how do you remove the duplicate elements from JavaScript array? So it is the same way I told you, like first it takes 3 parameters. So using the filter method and by using the for loop, so the empty array is used for sorting all the repeating elements. So like that you can simply make it more easy. So how can you draw a simple JavaScript DOM? So you can say it is a very simple JavaScript DOM elements which are there, where you can have the document and then the HTML, and followed by all child elements like an head tag, body tag. Body may contain further child elements like an anchor tag. So these are all basically known as called a presentational elements, through which this complete HTML hierarchy will contain inside this. So guys, thank you very much. These were the 3 categories we have discussed: beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level. Okay, all the best. Thank you very much.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.